Very good morning to one and all present here. I welcome all the participants who have joined this session. So I think our speaker is already here. Dr. Gay, you are here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Very good morning. Very good morning, madam.
Very good morning, sir. So with your due permission, shall we start today's session?
If all the participants are present,
Okay, sir. The participants are still joining. I mean, the number is increased.
okay.
So, okay, all right. So it's 9:30. So I think I will start by introducing you. So I welcome you all to the 5-day-long faculty development program on evolving role of AI and ML in state-of-the-art research and development, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. The FDP has been sponsored by AICTE. This is the third day of the FDP, and we are grateful to have Dr. Debashish De as speaker for the first two sessions of the day. Dr. De is a professor at Department of Computer Science and Engineering and director of School of Computational Science of Macau, West Bengal, and adjunct research fellow, University of Western Australia. He is a senior member IEEE, fellow IET Secretary, CSI, Kolkata. He was awarded the prestigious Boyce Cast Fellowship by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, to work at the Heriot-Watt University, Scotland, UK. He received the Endeavour Fellowship Award from 2008 to 2009 by DEST Australia to work at the University of Western Australia. He received the Young Scientist Award both in 2005 at New Delhi and in 2011 in Istanbul, Turkey, from the International Union of Radio Science, Belgium. In 2016, Sir has received J.C. Bose Research Award by IET New Delhi. In 2019, Sir has received Shiksha Ratna Award by the Government of West Bengal. He developed the Center of Mobile Cloud Computing and produced 15 PhDs. Sir has published in 300 journals and hundreds of conference papers. He has 12 books and has filed 9 patents. So Dr. Debashish De will be speaking about AI-based Internet of Drone Things. So we are eager to hear from you, sir. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. Very good morning to everyone. I can see the known faces. I can see Tufan Shah is present.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And yeah, Nilanjana madam also.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. So good to see back. So I hope that we will discuss some of the important aspects of drone things which we are working, and I'll try to share some of my thoughts in this regard. And yeah, let me share my screen. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So how many we are expecting, madam, today? Approximately, what is the participant?
Sir, it should be around 150.
Okay. So should I start? It is only 50. I can see 53. 53.
Sir, if you wish, you can start. The number of the participants
Okay.
keep increasing as the session goes on.
Okay, fine. Slowly, I am starting. It's difficult. I know this is 9:30. So, so today's topic is first part is AI-based Internet of Drones, where we'll be discussing some of the applications of this drone technology in our real life. And as you know, this is a decade of AI, and we have various kinds of AI around us. And even if you see the craze of BTech course, AI is increasing like anything, BTech and MTech. So everyone is doing research on even PhD level also on AI. So AI is a buzzword and everyone know what is AI. So I just wanted to club this AI with our drone technology. So how its Internet of Drones works with this help of this AI, and which will be helpful for the society to develop the sustainable society, because sustainability is one of the very important part of our life, because whatever the technology will develop, that must sustain and that must be useful for the full society. So AI based Internet of Drones, are rather autonomous drones, are extremely important nowadays, and these drones are actually everywhere in the world, and this drone business is increasing almost 200-300% every year. That means the demand of the drone is very high, right? So lot of business market is increasing for the drones, and many companies are coming up, many startup is coming up, right? Because it is the age of startup. So many startups are coming up with drones and they want to implement this AI for various applications for our society. So today I'll try to explain some of the AI techniques which is already developed and we are utilizing it for our drone application. Also, I'll show you how to use this basic applications like BioInspire technologies in the drone application, right? BioInspire techniques. So, as Madam has mentioned that I am from West Bengal University of Technology, presently known as Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, West Bengal. And we developed a center of mobile cloud computing. So, as you see, the mobile and cloud, they're working together. So, if you have mobile phone, I think everyone has smartphone, everyone use WhatsApp and various applications. So, we are all app-based. It's an app-driven industry, right? We pay electricity bill using app. We do all the activities. We book the cabs using app. So app is basically part of our life, day-to-day life. Even we are doing grocery marketing, whether it's Flipkart or Amazon, everything is by app. So the center of mobile computing, we are basically talking about mobility. We are doing the mobility modeling for the drones. How the drones will move from one part to other part. Okay. So in this center of mobile cloud computing, what we do the mobility study. We do the study of mobility, vehicular mobility. Means mobility means how the data will move and what are the constraints, what are the challenges are there. So if you see our mobile phone has various apps, I already have mentioned. These apps interact with the cloud or the edge devices. So mobile to data is going to the cloud, and cloud and mobile is interacting almost every day and night, every second almost, right? So there's a very important need of technological development. So mobile cloud computing is a part and parcel of our life. So everyone, those who are listening now, they're also utilizing this mobile cloud computing. And this Zoom platform is also nothing but mobile to cloud, because we are using our mobile phones or laptops, and we are uploading. Say my lecture is on, you are all, those who are present in this lecture, all the participants, they're also part of the lecture. So they're also part of the cloud. So it is nothing but mobile to cloud interaction. So we have written this book almost 7 years before, 2015. 6 years before. So this book is talking about how this mobile, these apps, we develop various apps, various mobility applications. To say, for example, the fitness app. Nowadays, you want to measure the fitness of the system, means of your body. Then also we need this app, right? Fit app, right? Google Fit. The various applications are there. So mobile is not doing this data processing; it also processing the cloud. We can do the cloud sensing. So in our center, we do a lot of cloud application, cloud-based application. So we can sense the cloud, we can collect the data of the cloud, and that cloud data is very powerful. For example, this cloud data like Google Map, right? Google Map, what do you see? When you're going to say from one part to other part of the city, we see what is the shortest route and which path is congested. It shows red, that means congested. Yellow means okay, but green is fine. So that means this crowd sensing, through the crowd sensing, we are getting the path information, road information, traffic information. So crowd sensing is very important, and we are all sensing this data with the help of on your mobile phone using the help of this cloud, and we're using certain applications, right? Drone data. I will discuss drone data and drones mobility analytics. I'll discuss in detail. How actually we form this mobility model using these various analytics. That thing I will discuss here. And geospatial. Geospatial means which geographical location the party is working, or other the interaction is going on one part to other part of the world. So geospatial location is very important, especially for data transferring. Nowadays, you know that there are various legal issues are there. So our country data should not go to other countries. So it's called geolocalization. There are a lot of laws are coming up, cyber laws. So data mobility is now a very much constrained. It should be confined within your country, because otherwise, you know, data is equals to money. Whatever the data, whatever the mobile data, what you are converting, is nothing but equals to money, right? The data is actually equivalent to money. So if you send our data, our Indian data, or any country's data to other country, they will also can monitor you, and they can also cache your money. That means your mobility. So we have to take care of these mobility models, and by these mobility models and mobility analytics, we can develop the smart city, right? Our ultimate aim is to develop the smart and sustainable city. So we have to give the very good applications for the smart city. So smart city mobility is very important. Mobility of the smart city is very important. So may I ask anyone that I can see Tufan Shah. So sometimes I will interact with you, so that it is not boring, right? So
Absolutely.
can I ask? Yes. What is the definition of a smart city in terms of mobility? Can you say something? In terms of mobility, can you define a smart city?
So in terms of mobility, a smart city would be something like tracking every single vehicle around the city,
Yes,
or maybe like recording all the traffic data and diversions, like making predictions on how to divert a vehicle, depending on that.
Yes, you are correct. But I am asking that using these mobility models, say mobility data,
Mhm.
can you conclude the city? Say I am talking about say Bangalore, Delhi, Calcutta. Okay.
Okay.
So based on the mobility data, can you conclude which one is the smartest? Say out of three cities.
In dependency to mobility, yeah, we can. I mean, if we have enough prediction data on the that, yes, we might be able to do so.
Yeah. Say for example, I'm giving the hints. Okay.
Yes.
That in case of mobility, in a smart city, that you can see the say average speed of Calcutta, say 40 km per hour.
Okay.
Agree? Approximately. If you see Bangalore, maybe it is 45.
Mhm.
Maybe Delhi it is 26 or 30.
Okay.
So what is the conclusion? If the average speed of the city increases, that indicates the mobility also increases.
Yes, sir.
That means we are moving towards smartness, right? It is
Right,
smartest out of the three. Say Bangalore is the smartest because the mobility speed is high.
Yes, sir.
So see, urban planner. Say you are say Tufan Shah is an urban planner, right? So you are policymaker. You say you are a policymaker, okay? So as a policymaker, so if you have the data, so which city has a better mobility, which city has low mobility. So if say Delhi has less mobility, say I'm not talking about Delhi. So any city has lower mobility. What is the remedy? We have to develop more underground metros, right?
Correct.
We have
Or
to give
flyovers.
yes, or more flyovers. that means we have to build up this infrastructure to develop the smart city, right?
Right.
Here
At the
the
same-
machine learning comes. Here
At
the
the same
machine
time,
learning
sir,
comes.
also we'll have to find a way to exactly what you're saying, sir. Find a way to predict what will happen when these infrastructures are built.
Yes. So yes, without infrastructure and with infrastructure, right?
Right.
We can do a differential analysis. Very simple. Say without these bridges, if you stop all the bridges, or if you make a barricade and see what is the average city speed, right?
Right.
And you open the bridges, you open the metro, you open the other facilities, and see whether the city is smart or not, right?
Correct, sir.
So these are the measures, right? The policymaker used to take to control the mobility, right?
Right.
So to control the traffic, as you mentioned, the traffic diversion, to control this mobility, so we are doing a lot of mobility analytics, right? Which is very important. And this mobility analytics is helped by the drones. So it is nowadays drone-based technology. See, drone is nowadays is happening in everywhere. Drone is doing healthcare applications, right? Even drone I have seen in various countries. They have during this COVID time, they are also sending the vaccine in the remote area. Okay, if you see UK and other countries, they are sending. Amazon is sending the products, right, through drone delivery boy, right? Delivery as a system, right? Drone-based delivery system. Also, the drones are used for various smart city applications, like say whether it's in waterlogged or not. So dengue, malaria is increasing. So drones can go take the aerial picture and give a report that this area is locked, and they can send an alert message to the common people, right? So these are the various applications actually we'll be discussing today. So by this way, ultimate aim is we have to make smart city, sustainable smart city, so that everyone remains healthy and the speed of the city increases and the infrastructure and the services, social services. So what you can say, in Calcutta, we have KMC, Kolkata Municipal Corporation, maybe other corporations are around India or around the world. So London Municipal Corporation, they used to give the services through this drone. Why? Why drone? Question is why drone?
Sir, I think drone will be a better solution because one main reason is the aerial, the aerial transport system or the aerial runways are still empty. The
Yes.
low altitude aerial runways are still empty.
Yes.
So that can be exploited.
Usman, actually, I was looking at a YouTube video.
Achha.
So the traffic at 2050. So this video shows a lot of flying soccer kind of thing, flying bike or something like that. So everyone will be flying, right, to save the time, right? So they'll be also lane.
Exactly.
Nowadays, till date, this our aerial path is free, more or less, to certain limit. So drones are coming up, but there is one problem. I also have a lot of drone, but I face some legal problems, right? Because nowadays, drones are also used for killing purpose. You have seen a lot of attacks are happening around us. I'm not telling the areas, but the newspaper you have seen, right? Lots of attacks in the various countries are attacking India or any other countries, right? So using these small drones, and these are like bird. This is not like a normal drone. You have seen various movies like a small bird which move flying, and they can go to the boundary. And there are some drones are coming up to the underwater sea. Can you believe it? To the river, drones are coming up.
Yes,
So
a very low flying altitude. Radar stealth drones are actually being generated by the various defense sectors.
And also the defense drones is a big problem because they are attacking the various military areas, also the airports, and you have seen various attacks for last 1 month. This attack is increasing like anything. Another attack is increasing slowly. That is underwater. Say many countries are connected with various rivers, right? So underwater drones, you can have a surveillance on the sky, but can you believe it? Underwater drones are coming up.
Mm. Many of the major cities have rivers on them. Most of the major cities actually have rivers.
Yes, so
Some connectivity.
so the enemy country, or the country, those who don't like you, they are sending the drones to the underwater. And the drones, I'll show you the functionalities. There are multiple functionalities are there. So it can fly, it can go to the underwater. So multiple facilities, like a Superman, right? So these drones are already developed. So this is not the story. This is the things actually happening. So I used to give one of the lecture that is on drone forensic. This is a very interesting area, right? Recently, last month, right, August, Kerala police, right? They have started drone forensics. Okay. So what is the purpose of this drone? To mitigate the attack and to develop the boundaries, means shielding for the drones, right? Israel is one of the country has made a shield, air shield on the, which they call it dome, right? No missile can enter, no drones can enter to the domes. So yes, we have to develop this kind of facilities. So smart mobility means also smart attack, right?
Yes, sir.
See, every
So
every
there is
good thing.
one question in the chat box
Yes.
from Srijita Basu madam.
Yes.
Is it just the speed or traffic congestion is also monitored in the context of mobility? So I think she's trying to ask if only speed and traffic will be taken into account, or are there other
See,
points of
not traffic. It's the traffic. It is the pollution. It is basically multi-objective optimization, right? Multi-objective. So smart city is a function of traffic. Smart city is a function of what is the air pollution, right? If the air has a lot of pollution, we cannot call it smart city, right?
right?
City must be sustainable. You know that if you know that UNESCO has launched a guideline, that UNESCO has mentioned that to make a sustainable city, you must have clean water, good education, and there are around 16 to 20 prescriptions are there, right? You search it on Google, you will get it. Sustainable city. Okay. Maybe next talk I will show you what are the 16 platforms. So if you satisfy those 16 norms, then only we can call it smart city, right? There is a pollution, clean water. Not only that, lifestyle, quality of life. Another very important terms are coming up. Earlier we used to call the quality of service, right? Means what kind of service? Whether it's a municipality service, whether it's a delivery service, they're all services, right? Nowadays we are talking about, in terms of smart city, quality of life. We call it QOL, quality of life. So it's a lifestyle modeling, right? So you have seen we are developing various apps which will keep you fit. Apps can do everything, right? I already have mentioned. So these things can be monitored by this drone. So drones are playing a major role. I'll show you all these things, what we are doing. So, and to develop this model, I use PSO and GSO mobility models. Practical swarm optimization and global arm sub optimization models, right? And it's a vast area, but I will touch some of the things slowly. So I have taken some of the things from the internet. I just acknowledge them, and also some of our published paper from our research group. So if you see the whole system, basically machine learning is coming in a major role, playing a major role, and every day, that supervised. Everyone know that supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is very popular because it is a reward-based learning, reward or punishment. So if drone is moving in the faulty area, it can give a punishment, and if it's moving in the proper area, it can give a reward. By this way, drones can give this reward punishment. Now, this IoT, so drones are actually in middle. Drones are utilizing this machine learning, also the Internet of Things. So both the things, the IoT and edge computing, so drones are actually controlling all the operations using the help of this IoT. Also, it is not only connecting the objects, it is also connecting the human being. When the drones are connecting to the human being, we call it social drone or social IoT, right? And when drones are connecting to the devices, we call it simple machine-to-machine connection, M2M connection, drone-to-machine connection, D2M connection, right? So by this way, this IoT and drones and machine learning is working together, achieve the the goal what we want to do for the smart city development. Okay. So these three things are working together actually to develop the smart city models. Okay. So if you see the drones are when the drones are flying, so there is something is called controller. So height length controller. So drones can move in any direction. We can move the drone in any control. There is a controller kind of things are there. Using that you can control everything, all the mobility of the drones, and it can go in any angle. See, every angle, every axis it can move. That is the beauty of the drones, and by this process we can capture the information from various angles, right? And if you can capture the data from various angles, we can easily control the drones. And if you see, is a deep tracker is there, and this deep tracker is actually tracking the whole system, multiple layers. Okay, so deep tracker is actually controlling this thing. So I think many of you know the deep learning technologies, and so deep tracker with multiple layers actually helping these drones to find out the target and to map. So this drone is mapping certain areas. So sites to be mapped is written, sites to be mapped. So ABC, 3 sites this drone is mapping. So according to the angle of the drone controlled, and the data is basically captured by this deep tracker, and actually it is controlling the spots or area of interest. AOI is called area of interest. Okay, so this is one of the paper published by someone in Springer that is talking about this machine learning models for multi-UV path planning. Multi-UV, multiple UVs can be planned for certain areas. So not only one UV, can use more than one UV to track these events. Okay. Now, if you talk about the drone-to-drone connection, or we call it D2D connection, drone-to-drone connection, or UAV to UAV connection. If you see this picture, sorry, this drone, this is another drone. This drone is basically controlling the signal of the traffic. So instead of traffic person, this drone is actually helping these cars. So you can ask me why it is mobile, because if the car is violating the signals, drones can easily move in a very high speed and picture of the car, so no one can escape. Earlier it was totally manual, traffic police based. Nowadays drone based smart city environment basically helping the traffics not to break the signal, and this whole data is controlled by the cloud or edge systems, right? Also these drones are connecting the logs, so total traffic controlling system is basically controlled by these drones. So many countries in the world they are using this GPS. Unfortunately, India slowly started, because if you deploy too many drones, a lot of people traffic police will become unemployed. So that is another, unemployment is a big problem for our country. So it's a big challenge, but still drones should be used in a proper manner to control this traffic light system. Also for smart home healthcare. Recently, we have published one paper that drones can also go to the inside room, and you can, or from this using this camera, they can track human being. They can see the movement of the person within the house, and any health disease or heart attack. This health drone will help to inform to the various hospitals or caregivers, right? And also smart buildings are all connected. So if you see, you have given 3 speeds: high speed, medium speed, and low speed. So based on the requirement, the bandwidth is different. Drone 1, drone 2, drone 3, the bandwidths are different. Drone 1, drone 2, drone 3, the bandwidths are different. Drone 1 will want to connect to drone 2. So this is called, I'm just showing you. So this drone is connecting this drone, right? And this drone is connecting this drone. So this drone can also talk to each other. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So if some drone is failure, other drone can take care of it. So here I've shown you 3 drones. It can be multiple drones. Okay. So it is doing interoperable operation. So in IoT, you know that there is a term called interoperability. So drone has a beautiful property called interoperability. So the health drone can also act as a traffic drone. So that kind of property is there. So this is the beauty of the whole system, and we are connecting drone to drone. And by this way, we are actually providing the service for the whole city, right? So if you provide the service, you understand you are getting a very good connectivities, and we are actually connecting to the cities, and we can connecting to the citizens. So it is a citizen-centric drone to drone connectivities. Okay. Now this is a very interesting area. A lot of people are working together how to provide this citizen-centric applications using the drones, and that is the reason drones have become very popular. Now the question is why machine learning? See, machine learning is a very important aspect because we have to give the deep learning technique or reinforcement learning so that drones can do this, take this data, and they can adaptively their own decision. It's called real-time decision making. So drone should not ask to the cloud what to do. Drone must be autonomous in nature. Autonomous means, anyone know what is autonomous drone? What is autonomous drone?
So they should be somewhat be able to take at least some of the primary decisions by themselves without having to revert back to a central server.
Yes, you are correct. So generally, you know, if you face any problem, any teacher face any problem, they go to HOD, or they can go to the director, or they can go to the vice chancellor or registrar or whatever maybe the level, right? Now, if you want to go to so many levels, the problem is become very critical. What is my intention is that we have to provide the real-time solution. Our challenge is to provide the real-time solutions to the citizens and to the all the service carriers, right? So IoDT or Internet of Drones can provide this autonomous activity, and to make this drone autonomous, we need to provide the reinforcement learning technique or federated learning technique. These are the techniques that are used frequently in these drones to make the city, you know, more livable, and also the quality of the lifestyle of the city will increase, right?
Right.
So it means always at your service. It means always the drones are at your service, right? So that is the reason we are talking about autonomous drones. For example, I am giving one example. If there is a road accident, so sometimes you have seen it is a remote area, the person, what happens? Person has fallen on the road, the car has gone, right? Agree with me?
Agreed.
So if the person is been captured or by the ambulance or any person, nowadays, you know, if no person is interested to take the risk also, right? If I am going to take the person and go to hospital, the police will detain me also. It is actually the truth.
There
So
are several
drone, yes. So drones are doing a lot of good job. They are capturing immediate picture, and they're asking to the ambulance to go to the spot using the proper GPS location, and that is called smartness, and that is the property of the image processing capability. Drones are, you know, that they can take the image, and so if you can help those accident spots, then we can save the life of the person. Very simple thing, but these are very useful. So that is the reason the autonomous drones are very popular nowadays, and machine learning techniques are coming up. I'll show you some of the latest advanced machine learning techniques which is used for healthcare applications, especially the drones nowadays, because we are going through various health issues. The whole world is passing through health issues. The majority of the applications are nowadays in the drones are shifted towards health, right? Autonomous drones are very popular. So yes, someone have mentioned that Raju has mentioned that autopilot drones are autonomous drones. Yes, correct. This can be customized. Yes, correct. Another, there's one problem. Anyone say there is a big problem? Drones are battery based. So drones are battery based, right? So like a charging station, like a petrol pump, right? There are a lot of solar cell based charging stations are there. So drones, when they see the charges going down, drones will sit on that charging base station. They will be automatically charged, right? Earlier charging was a problem. Any other solution? Any other solution you can provide? You can write in the chat, or you can say, apart from the charging base station, how this drone can charge themselves. Because you know every drone the battery is 3 hours. It's the biggest challenge. Say I can share my experience. I have a drone, okay, and this drone goes to certain area, and when the drone observes that he has crossed say 2 kilometers or something like that, he wants to come back because his battery is going down. He knows that he have to reach the destination. Is it correct? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So drone knows how much battery is required to go back to his original location. So accordingly, it saves the battery. So drones are intelligent enough, right? So so battery is our biggest challenge. I've asked some question. Let's see.
So some of the members have written solar power, solar energy.
Okay. Agree?
Yes, agreed. It can also have a very alternative, a complicated alternative solution that it can harness the wind speed and generate its own current.
Yes, Tufan, you are 100% correct. That I was about to say this thing. It's called energy harvesting. We have to harvest the energy, right? So when the drones are moving, drones are going to the sky, they have to harvest their own energy. Harvest means they have to generate their own energy. They have to generate their own energy. So they have to generate their own energy. That means these drones can, when the drones are flying, their mechanical energy or the movement, it can convert to a electrical energy. Possible, right? It is similar to the bicycle dynamo. Anyone use this bicycle dynamo? If you paddle your bicycle, it generates a lot of energy, right? It can give the straight light. What is called the headlight of your. If you in a village area, generally there is no light, so the headlight of the bicycle is driven by you. When you're paddling the cycle, your mechanical energy is converted to electrical energy, right? By this process, the drones means the headlight of the bicycle is getting light, right? Same working principle if you apply to the drones. When the drones are flying, so they have a paddle movement, right? There are some wings. These wings can move, and due to the movement of the wings, it can generate energy. So Tufan, you are 100% correct that, and thank you very much. So you said correctly that energy harvesting is very important. So autonomous drone means they must must have the machine learning technique, proper machine learning technique. At the same time, it can also harvest the energy by themselves. Otherwise, what will happen? It cannot provide the service 24/7 basis, right? Otherwise, you'll go to the charging station and charging will take 1 hour. And during that time, a lot of accidents can happen, a lot of people can die. So, or we can make a shift basis, morning shift, evening shift. It's possible, whatever. So there are various applications of the drones like this. Now, if you see the ecosystem of IoT, so as you know, the cloud is at a long distance, right? Cloud is in a, maybe say Amazon cloud or Google cloud. It is somewhere in the long distance from you. Say it is in Mumbai or Bangalore or somewhere, right? Where is Amazon cloud? Anyone know? Amazon cloud is in Mumbai. Means if you see the, anyone from Mumbai? So, you know, Amazon, their server is at Mumbai. So those who want to access the cloud from Calcutta, say there is a drone in the edge layer. This drone want to contact the cloud. You know, it will take a lot of time. So it is not a real-time process. So in between we have a fog layer, and in the lower we have a edge layer. So we call it edge-based computing. Okay. So drones are actually connecting to the edges. What is the edge? It is the local computers, local servers, local system to which actually we are connecting, right? Now these drones are actually connected to these edge devices. Also, drone itself is an edge device. So the intelligence we are providing intelligence to the drones, we call it edge AI. We call it edge AI. And if you see 2021, the hype cycle of Gartner mentioned edge AI is the most popular technology in this century, in this year 2021. 2021, most hype technology is intelligence at the edge or edge intelligence. Even 2-3 books are available all on edge devices. Okay, edge intelligence. So now question is, why you are going towards edge? Anyone? Why we are going towards edge? Why we are connecting the drones towards edge? You can write in the chat. What is the reason we are connecting to the drones to the edge? What are the reasons? Or rather, what is the main reason? Yes, drones can directly interact with the device, but main advantage is Bhardvi Ghosh, right? Bhardvi Ghosh, yeah. So yes, you mentioned that yes, you can connect the devices directly. Not only it can connect, it can directly real-time processing. I am talking about real-time processing. It can real-time connect. Real-time it can connect to the drones, and it becomes faster. See, there's a very important need of real-time AI. So AI must be lightweight. I'm repeating, your algorithm must be lightweight. Lightweight AI. Yes, reduce the, Srijita Basu mentioned, yes, reduce the latency. To reduce the latency, we have to use these edge devices to reduce the latency and to connect the device in a real-time fashion. Anyone know there is an algorithm called YOLO? YOLO is very popular algorithm to identify the objects, right? Now, for these drones, there is another software come up in the market. Is called YOLO Lite. YOLO Lite is very popular. If you search on Google, you will get it. YOLO, YOLO. You only look once. YOLO algorithm, you don't know, right? It is a part of image processing technology. So I'm not going to image processing, but YOLO is very popular image processing toolbox to identify the object in a real-time fashion, whether it's a cat or a human being or a car. So YOLO is very popular. YOLO. You only look once. Very popular algorithm. So if you search on Google, you'll get it YOLO Lite, LITE. There is a lightweight algorithm because it must operate. The complexity of the algorithm should be less so that the system can run faster. Yes. Raju has mentioned, yes, sir, that YOLO DL concept, OpenCV is more helpful. Yes, yes. So yes, Raju, that you see, YOLO Lite is very popular. So we are using YOLO Lite in the devices, and it is freely available. If you search on Google, you will get it. You can also search now, you will get it. YOLO Lite is very, very popular algorithm, and you can simply use this algorithm in your device. Now, question is how we'll do it. You can, I'll show you how to do it. You can use a Raspberry Pi, and Raspberry Pi you can connect with your Raspberry Pi is basically a microcontroller, right? So also one kind of small computer. You can connect to your laptop using that Python coding. You can simply download it, rather program it to your device. Your device will be, or rather your drone will be computationally capable to perform this operation, right? So this year I have we have written, not me, other professors, my student Anisha, Professor Raj, and from Melbourne University, Professor Shomokanti Ghosh from IIT Kharagpur. So we have worked on some of the devices called mobile edge device. Your drones are nothing but also mobile edge device. So I think this book is will be available from this month, September or maybe October. Okay, so you can simply download and you can see. I can see the details. What are the technologies are used? So it is a 616 page, almost 600 plus pages. So we have given a detailed explanation. The technologies we have given this book, where we have shown that how this mobile edge computing is helping these drones to make the city smarter. Okay. Also, we have written another one for AI-based edge computing, AI-based IoT. So that is also helping the IoT systems. Both will be published by Springer, okay? Springer US actually. Now come to our. So this book will be freely available, so you can download it from Springerly. Okay. So if you see the whole ecosystem of intelligence, so we have three types of intelligence. One is called terminal intelligence. Middle layer is called local intelligence. The top layer called centralized intelligence. I'm repeating. Terminal intelligence means intelligence at the edge devices, means your mobile phones, your cars or drones, or your robots or anything. So this is called terminal intelligence. There are various lightweight. I have already mentioned YOLO Lite and various other OpenCV. These are the very interesting applications that are coming up. I think many of you know it. So when you want to develop a intelligent drone, we have to develop the intelligence at the terminal only. Intelligence at the terminal. That means this area. So what is the purpose? It will store the data. Caching. Caching means it can store the data for a longer time. Cache memory, right? And also it can compute. And various machine learning techniques are used. I'll show you. Federated learning, deep learning, some of the techniques are used nowadays for this edge-based or the terminal-based intelligence. Okay. So middle layer is called local intelligence. That is done by the servers and the base stations. And the top, the intelligence in the cloud. Now in the cloud, we can have a heavy algorithms, means heavy codes, and which is more reliable, but the complexity is very high because the cloud has a lot of resources, lot of servers, RAM is very high, so it can do heavy computation. So local level we can do moderate computation, and terminal level we have to do lightweight computation. So I'm repeating this word various times. We have to go for terminal intelligence and lightweight intelligence. Example, if you ask me what is the example, example is federated learning. I'll discuss throughout this day what is federated learning. Okay, I think maybe many of you already know because it is a very popular kind of technology. So yes, we need the 5G and 6G network to increase the speed. I'm not going to details. So there is a famous song by Shilajit. Right? Anyone know this song? It's a very famous song.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry for I've written in Bengali. Ja pakhi utte dilam toke. That means birds can fly autonomously. Who utte dilam toke? That means who is allowing? The intelligence is allowing the bird to move. So this is the song of famous Bengali singer Shilajit. Says that birds can fly like autonomously. Why not then our drone? Agree?
Agreed, sir.
If birds can fly like this, why not the drones? Drones should not wait for your command. Drone must have the intelligence. Automatic robotic system. So I like this song of Shilajit, and which helps understand the internal intelligence and the behavior. Not only it is autonomous, it also has the intelligence. It is the intelligence where to go and what eat and what not eat. So same kind of intelligence we must provide. So I've shown you some picture with some people with accident, right? Drone can take the picture autonomously, and they can put the edge computing devices to their middle layer or in the deep learning devices, and they can send it to the control station. That means police or the ambulance. The ambulance will come autonomously, and they can take the person, the affected accident area zone. So autonomous drones are very popular nowadays, right? So these autonomous drones are using MOEA, multi-object evolutionary algorithm. I think you know that what is multi-objective. Anyone know what is multi-objective? What is multi-objective? You can chat. You can write in the chat or you can speak. No problem. What is multi-objective? Okay. Multi-objective evolutionary algorithm.
So Bhavri madam has the capability to do various types of jobs.
Yes. He, you know that as a teacher also, right? We are all those who are listening. They are all teachers, right? We have to do a lot of multiple operations, right? We have to teach. We have to maintain the all the university or college activities, and we have to take care of your families. Everyone is doing multiple operations, and everyone has a multiple objective. Say, we have to become like this. I have to become Sachin Tendulkar. I have to become like Virat Kohli. So that is their objective. So if you have multiple objectives, so there is a function f. Say there is a function y. Is a function of, it's a function of fx1, fx2, fx3. Where x1, x2, x3, x4, there are the multiple parameters. So this is called multi-objective, and you have to optimize all the parameters together, isn't it? We have to optimize all the parameters together. So this is called multi-objective optimization. Okay. So multi-objective evolutionary algorithm is very popular algorithm, and if you go to IEEE evolutionary algorithm journal transaction, this transaction they are talking about what are the optimization techniques, various optimization techniques there, and drones must have multi-objective optimization techniques. It will be like Devi Durga. Why we we follow Devi Durga? Why? What is the speciality of Devi Durga? Or anyone or any idol, right? So Devi Durga has 10 hands, right? And every hand is doing different operation. Agree or disagree?
Agreed, sir.
And see, he or she is also optimizing, right? When to throw, what to do, what not to do. So this is the multiple operations we have to do, right? So while I'm taking this lecture, I am getting a lot of message from my university. I have to give the answer also. There's an interview board or this and that. So I'm habituated. During this online class, we are all habituated, right? Not only me, we are all habituated doing multiple operations at the same time.
Absolutely, sir.
Otherwise, what will happen? Your register said, "Oh, Debashish, I sent you a message. You have not replied. You are so ignorant. You must come to university. Do not work from home," like this, right?
It's true. Very true.
So see, I'm doing multiple operations. So I'm giving the WhatsApp message answer to my registered site also, right? So there is an interview board after say, I have written that after my lecture I was joined. So you know that we are doing multiple operations, right? Similarly, the drones are also performing multiple operations. And anyone want to learn what is multi-objective optimization? They can join me on Saturday. There is a lecture by the editor-in-chief of Evolutionary Algorithm, Carlos Quilo. He is from I think Mexico. So he'll be giving lecture on multi-objective optimization, right? And from India, one professor is called Kullan Moidev. And he has 1,65,000 citation on his paper called Multi-Objective Optimization, NSGA. He can optimize 15 operations at a time. Can you believe it? 15 operations at a time. And this NSGA is very popularly used in computer science. Are you getting my point? Devi Durga has 10 hands, but the drones can have 15 functionality. This NSGA2 is very popular. His name is Professor Kullan Moidev. He was actually from Calcutta. Now after that he has gone to Kanpur IIT. Then he has gone to Stanford. Now he's in MIT. So if you follow the Kullan Moidev's lecture, so I used to meet him every week almost and listen to his lecture. And I got a lot of informations. So he has written one program, single program that can perform 15 optimization at a time and very efficiently. Optimization means, what do you mean by optimization? Optimization means not maximization. It is optimizing some parameter, increasing some parameter, decreasing some other parameters. Like in a smart city, we have to increase the speed. At the same time, we have to decrease the pollution level, isn't it?
Very true, sir.
So we have to take care of everything. If you want to work, if you want to get a success in your life, you should work hard. But that doesn't mean you work for 24 hours. Then you will die, right?
True.
So you have to optimize. You have to give the family life. You have to have optimization. So this kind of optimization is very important. So please go through the algorithms of NSGA2 by Professor Kullan Moidev. Now he's in MIT. And this week also he was giving very interesting lectures. And he was talking about very interesting lecture, farmer optimization problem, farmer. What will be the policy of the government of India? And what will be the requirement of pesticides? What will be the, the farmers, how much the salary or the wage they will get? So there are multiple problems, right? We have to optimize them together. Similarly, the drones also have various problems. Drones must take care of his own battery life. Agree? Drones must take care of his mobility. Drone must take care of the citizens. Drone must take care of the traffic light systems. It has multiple operations, right? So this kind of functionality we must provide to these autonomous drones using multi-objective optimization. Today's topic is AI-based Internet of Drones. I think everyone know what is this machine learning, but I just wanted to give the light that why multi-objective optimization is important. Why multiple machine learnings? I will show you what are the machine learnings we have used in our applications, right? So we call it multi-criteria decision making, MCDM, multi-criteria decision making. multiple criteria, one decision, right? So we cannot take multiple decision, one decision. So decision must be correct. So there are various techniques are coming up. Sometimes robots are taking more decision, better decision, right? That's why you have seen the chess game, robots are winning compared to the champions, right? So robotic based or machine learning based systems are coming up, and drones are trained by using this multi-objective optimization techniques. Okay. AlphaGo, yes. Multitasking, yes, you are correct. So yes, drone must be multitasking and multi operations it can perform at a time. So is it clear?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have to do multi-objective optimization. If you understand the basic, you can do it programming. Programming is even the programs are available. So multi-objective programs are available in GitHub, and if you mail me, I'll give you my program. Okay, I'm always open, like Linux. Anything you want, you can take it from me. Okay, I'm not like Windows. Windows do not give anything access. So this is I think this is clear to everyone that multi-objective algorithm or multi-objective decision making is very important. MCDM, I've not written. MCDM is very important. So MCDM, fuzzy logic, and many other things are important used nowadays. Okay, some of the applications I just want to highlight. Agriculture, a lot of drones are actually happening. We are also using a lot of agriculture drones, smart city applications, smart transport, battlefield. Nowadays, battlefield, but not by the human being. Drone to drone field. Smart surveillance, I've already mentioned. Smart city, smart power, drone-based edge network. Nowadays, edge network is totally drone-based, right? So these are the already things I've mentioned, that infrastructure, agriculture. Now security is also increasing. Drones are giving security 360-degree security. Drones are giving 360-degree security, 24/7. AgriDrone is providing this lot of applications. No, this AgriDrone, they can the soil parameters, they can see the pesticides. Okay, many things they can do. And through using this edge network, multiple drones can fly in the field, and they can spray the pesticide or spray various kind of spray like this picture. So these are very well known and popular. And obviously, the big data analytics is helping a lot. The 3 V's or 5 V's or 10 V's are coming up. So this big data is helping to do this analytics, edge analytics. Edge analytics is another very important term coming up from this big data analytics. So I've shown you that this drones are like this. It can fly, it can capture a lot of data, lot of volume of data is coming, velocity and variety. Right? But we should not give so much load to the drones. We should not give the hard disk. Nowadays SSD drives are there. I used to use my own 256 SSD drive on my drone. Okay. So by this way, the drone becomes super power, right? Super powerful. This picture shows when you are connecting these drones to the IoT, lot of data is coming, per second data is coming, lot of values, velocity, variety of data, lot of data. So drones are almost behaving like an elephant. It is like just an analogous, comic picture. So I want to put this, I just want to show you that it is showing a lot of data in real time, and it becomes so much heavily loaded. So they need to offload the data to nearby devices, right? Nearby cloud or edge devices. So internet drone things using this drones like a Superman. It can control the whole city like a Superman. It can go to anywhere, right? Superman can go to anywhere if there is any problem. Similarly, drones are also capable enough to move one part to other part. It is like a Superman. So we also did a lot of experiments, our own autonomous drones. We program our drones. Moreover, we our drones using the machine learning techniques. So what is AUV network? Is AUV, it is written aquatic underwater vehicle. I have started in the starting. I have mentioned not only in the sky, it is also in the underwater. So we have to have a UAV AUV network. UAV must connect to the AUVs also, right? Agree? UAVs must connect to the AUVs. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a disconnection. Generally, we call it Shargo Motto Patal. That means you have land, underground, and the sky. You have to connect all of them together. So these AUV networks enables us to connect the underwater animals or the human being or the underwater submarines to the on the land battlefield or the smart cities to the sky. So every 3 level it can maintain. Clear? Any question?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Now, when we are developing this AI-based drones or multi-objective drones, see, it is the slide is given by PwC 2016. I took it from PwC. Thanks to PwC. PwC gives the market forecast or technology forecast. Technology forecast shows what will be the functionality of the drones or the future drones. So it is 2016, almost 5-6 years before they have written, right? 5 years before. Everyone knows drones can fly by themselves. That means autonomous drone, right? Second functionality, they can crawl. Crawl means they can simply walk like a baby. It can crawl. Drones can talk to each other. In the slide I have shown you, the drones can exchange the data, drone to drone data. That's why Internet of Drone things, we call it drone to drone connectivity using the internet. That's why we call it Internet of Drone things, right? So they must talk to each other. Drones can talk to each other. They can recognize the faces. They can recognize the faces, right? So during this COVID time, you know that these drones are going to the cities. If there is any lockdown or curfew is there, 144. Can you tell me this? How these drones are helping? Anyone?
I suppose, I mean, I don't know exactly, but I suppose as per my understanding, the drones can take a picture and, I mean, transfer the information as where they can spot more than 5 people standing together in a huddle. And thereby these people are breaking the 144.
Yes, madam, you are 100% correct. And this is not the story. This has been, you know, this is predicted 2016 and used in 2021. And especially in China and many other countries, they did it. And also we have one proposal that you know this. If you see these drones, you know these drones moving to certain area. Say, as you have mentioned, that 5% walking together or making a unwanted crowd, then that drone can take the picture of the person. Okay. If it is government, you know that everyone has their Aadhaar card, right? Aadhaar, if you Aadhaar linked, if you can link this Aadhaar link to this drone, what will happen? They can understand, okay, Debashish is there, Tufan is there, or Nilanjana madam is there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Then they will, what will they do? They will send 100 rupees fine or 500 rupees fine. Okay, this person, this time with a timestamp, in your WhatsApp, you will get a fine. And you have to provide the fine in 48 hours. So you have to provide the fine. Can you believe it? No
Even
way to escape. Yes.
EH system has similar technique. The
Yeah.
car movement techniques are actually being transferred to the drones now.
Yes. So is it not a very good idea? It's a very interesting idea that we should, you know, that They can recognize the faces or objects. This objects means sometimes sometimes drones are helping for the bomb squads also. Bomb squad. I think everyone know that bomb squad people die like anything. They want to help us. They want to defuse the bomb, and they can kill themselves, right? Sometimes by the bomb during the diffusion process. Nowadays, diffusion is the cutting the wires are nowadays drone based. See what are the functionalities, and that is the reason I am talking about this. That is the reason we have to provide these machine learning techniques through the drones, and that can save the life of us. And that can do the multiple operations. Single drone can have multiple features. So we have to go for multi-criteria decision-making operations, multi-objective optimization, and also this kind of intelligent decision-making, right? Drones can climb. They can climb like a monkey. The drones can also grab certain object. Last one, mission. Grab means the person is doing the service, delivery service. Some QR code is there where your address of Tufan is given, and Tufan has given order to Amazon, and within say a few hours, the drone will go on your rooftop and deliver your product safely using the what is called social distance, right? So these are the drones are coming up with various applications. This is the beauty of the whole system. And the last one is very important. They can give each other space. They should not collide. Drones must not collide, right? They should give each other space. Space means anti-collision drones, right? They should not collide to yes, that is called FANET. Raju has mentioned that yes, this is FANET or vehicular ad-hoc network, right? So drones are actually playing a major role in this area. So these are the multiple functionalities are there. So using this, while we will be developing the programs, right? Programs are available. What is our idea? Which program you will give and how we will provide. If you search GitHub, all the codes are available. To MATLAB, all the codes are available. Only thing you have to know which code and what are the functionalities you have to provide. How they can work seamlessly. Okay, that is the target. So this is the drone which is in our laboratory. What we did, it has some flight controller, GPS modules, brush motors. This is a battery, RFID tags are there. Okay, RFID readers are there. Right? So internet drone things means we have already mentioned that it is IoT to IoDT, connecting multiple drones together. Right. Here I have shown drones are working together in a edge platform. So this is known as edge drone, right? So I'm not going to this background because drones can collect data, drones can fly low altitude. So we have published one paper with Amartya, who is also supposed to be also a faculty member of IEM. The paper title is Edge Drone: Quality of Service Aware MQTT Middleware, Mobile Edge Computing for Opportunistic Internet of Drone Things. So where we have given the evolution of drones for 1950 to 2020, because paper is published in last year. So evolution is given here. What is the basic, which was not earlier? The drones are not autonomous. We are going towards more autonomous drones, and also we are going towards IoT-based drones, right? IoT-enabled drones are coming up in 2020. So these are the increasing functionality of IoT, which is coming up. I'm not going into detail of these things because of shortage of time. So this is a basic structure of the drones, plastic structure. Then these are the autopilot units. We have to program it. We can program it. We can connect the Raspberry Pi on this autopilot unit, and we can program it. So this is the digital circuit, GPS modules, and this is the frequency, telemetry, and this is the input-output systems. So these are some future technologies, flying base stations, 5G, 6 technologies. Okay. So drones can also connect to the remote balloons with photovoltaic cell. They can go to the remote area. They can provide the electricity. Drones can provide the electricity in hill areas, right? To hill areas where there's no electricity, no internet is possible. Drones can provide the internet connectivity. Okay. So this is the basic structure. So what is our structure is that we have discussed that this drone actually looking for connecting the smart grids. Yes, it can connect the smart grids to provide the power. Already I mentioned about smart cities. I'm not going in detail. Smart homes, also for patient monitoring, smart patient monitoring. Healthcare givers, they can use it, right? Another point, if there is any disconnection, something is called DEW drone. DEW technology is another technology where even if there is no internet connectivity, DEW can provide some connection temporarily for say 3-4 minutes. Say in this lecture, suppose your internet is gone, but if your computer has cache memory, say high cache memory, you can get some backup. That means you can listen to my lecture without any break. So this new technology is coming up called DEW drone or DEW technology, and that is DEW is based on the cache memory of your computer. So ultimately, these are the various tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So in middle layer is cloud, but generally this drones architecture we have to work in the edge layer, so we call it edge drones, right? So first layer is the perception layer, where we are sensing the signals using this IoT. Second layer is edge layer, already I have mentioned. Third layer is gateway. 5G, 6G network is coming up. Fog, then cloud. So these are the multi-layer criteria. But listen, we are mostly concentrating on 1 to 2 layer, layer 1 and layer 2, because we don't want so much delay. We want to do it everything in a real-time fashion. Yes. Yes, someone has asked about DEW computing, right? Madam, you can ask DEW computing. Can you open your mic and you can ask? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, you were talking about, I mean, you were showing the diagram. So I just mentioned the DEW computing. You talked about DEW computing in our last FDP. So, kind of recalled from that.
You want to know in details of DEW?
Sir, as far as I remember, you said that if there is a network drop, suddenly a network drop happens, say the lecture is going on, then some part of the bandwidth can be stored in the cache memory so that someone doesn't lose a part of the lecture. They can use that stored up, backed up bandwidth to listen to the lecture until the connection restores. So that
Yes, you are correct, madam. We are working. You'll be happy to know, everyone will be happy to know that I am also part of IEEE Special Technical Committee member. I think I'm the vice chairman of the committee, where we are developing the standards of DEW computing. Okay. If I get sometime, then someday we'll discuss in detail of DEW computing, or you can follow my research papers, or I can provide you with the lecture details, virtual details. This DEW computing is actually helping us when there is a internet connectivity is less, right? In various part of the world, internet is not reaching properly. Internet is there, but internet is not continuous, disturbed, right? When there is a disturbed internet connectivity, this DEW computing, the cache memory of your laptop or your mobile phone will help for temporary connection. That is called DEW. Okay, that means your edge devices will be capable enough to communicate even if without internet connection for a certain amount of time. Okay.
Nice. Yes.
So IEEE, till date there is no IEEE standard is there. Till date there is no IEEE standard is there. IEEE makes all the standards, like Wi-Fi has standard of 802.11 or something, ABCD, right?
Right.
Everyone know. But IEEE also we are planning how to develop the standards. So anyone is interested, they can work with us. We are all open. Anyone can join the team. Okay. So we are about to develop the protocols of DEW computing. We are about to develop the functionality of the DEW computing. So this is not yet standardized. So DEW computing started by one of my good friend, Wang. He's from Canada. He's my very good friend, and he has given the term 3-4 years before. Dew computing. Okay. And yes, we are working. Every year we make a conference called DewCom. Okay. I think this is the third or fourth year. So anyone is interested, they can join us. So we can send you the invitation. So Dew computing is very helpful for IoT devices because IoT device works in the internet domain. If there is no internet connectivity, there is no question of IoT, right? If there is no internet, why IoT starts from internet? If there is no internet connectivity, there is no IoT. So if the internet is disturbed, that means your IoT is disturbed. That means your drone is disturbed. Your whole system is disturbed. So you must have the what is called that backup, little bit backup for 2-3 minutes. That backup is done by the cache memory, and that is nothing but Dew computing. And these drones are capable enough to handle this kind of features using these drones, Dew computing systems. Okay. So there are a lot of routing challenges are there. I'm not going in details of it. There are mobility challenges. Yeah, this is very important. So we have to model when you talk about mobility model of the drones, there are various standards are there. What kind of realistic mobility model? What will be the mobility model for dense network scenario? What will be the mobility in the sparse network infrastructure? You know, there are optimization technique. I already have mentioned multi-objective optimization in the hybrid model. Yes, this multi-objective optimization techniques or NSGA2, this kind of tools you have to use for your mobility patterns, right? So mobility pattern is not automated. So we have to give the intelligence. Robots are not intelligent. Human being is providing the intelligence. They are providing this multi-objective optimization using these programming tools or by the machine learning tools. So this kind of mobility models, these are the equations. I'm not going in details because it will take maybe another 10 hours. So these are the equations, mobility. One of them is called Gauss-Markov mobility model. There are hundreds of mobility models are there. Okay. There are hundreds of collision avoidance algorithms are there. So we can use any one of the suitable algorithm in our drones, right? I just wanted to give you the highlights. This is the Gauss-Markov mobility model. Okay. Random mobility models. So city to city basis, just like city to city basis, the mobility model is given, right? Just like when you have disease, you go to doctor, right? And doctor prescribes some medicine. If you have fever, they provide Calpol, right? If you have COVID, then they give you azithromycin, right? So based on the disease, the doctors provide you the medicine. Similarly, based on the city models, city infrastructure, the models are provided by the experts. So clear, sir. This is very important. Every disease has its own prescription. Similarly, every model is used for every infrastructure. Okay. So the model which is applicable for Calcutta may not be applicable for Bengaluru, may not be applicable for Chennai. Okay. So this is called path loss model or mobility model. So this is altogether a communication technology area, but this is a very interesting area of mobility modeling. Okay. And itself is a research area. And hundreds of people are doing PhD in this area. Hundreds. It's a very interesting area. Okay. So basically, these are part of drone doctors. So you cannot give arbitrary programming to the drones. You have to provide various algorithms like shortest path algorithm, all these things. Right? We have published one paper called Edge Drone. I have already mentioned in Computer Communication Journal. QSR MQTT middleware for mobile edge computing for opportunistic internet drone things. So this is one of our paper. With Amorto, and this paper we have developed this architecture. Already I have mentioned this sensor, drone layers, edge layer, cloud layer. So well known. I'm just keeping this. So this is the module we have developed in our lab. So we can program it. We use the protocol called MQTT, Message Queuing Telemetry Transport Protocol. And using these drones and using this Raspberry Pi, we connect to this various protocols, and then we can connect to the edge cloud system. So this is the prototype. This is our own picture, right? So MQTT means Message Queuing Telemetry Transport Protocol. This is very popular protocol in IoT. So I'm not going in detail of IoT, but this is very popular IoT protocol. And MQTT provides various quality of service. Service 0, service 1, service 2. So based on the cost, you know, when you go to a hotel, you can go luxury room or ordinary room like this. You know, similarly, if you need an ordinary service, you can go for QS0. If you need a luxury service, then you can go for QS2 model. QS2 means the service model. One drone to other drone, we are sending the data. We call it publisher subscriber model, PUB sub model. PUB sub model. This drone using this MQTT broker is transferring the data to the other drones. Because of this IoT connectivity, we have to connect with one drone to other drones. So this is known as PUB sub model, right? Publisher subscriber model. The complexity will increase for QS1. See, there is some acknowledgement which is not there in earlier. This is not there in earlier case. So the complexity will be little bit increased. The cost will be also increased. QS2, we can provide this QS2 model in our drones, publisher to subscriber model. So QS2 provides various other quality of service, right? So you can see a lot of communications are there, protocols are there. So QS2 is a little bit complex protocol, but as well at the same time means costly protocols. And these are the protocols are well known and very popular for MQTT, Message Queuing Telemetry Transport Protocol for Internet of Things applications, IoT applications, right? Yeah. So if you see, this is the publisher drone, these are the subscriber drone. Drone can publish and these drones can subscribe. So it depends upon you what kind of subscriber you want. You want QS0, QS2 or QS3 based on the real time urgency of the model. If the urgency is very fast, then we will provide QS0 model. Are you getting my point, Zufan sir?
Yes, sir.
So if you need something very fast, so say you want to go to college, you want to go for then what do you do? We will make a chow mein or Maggi, 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yes, very true.
So I'm giving example of food. So see, this will provide QS0. If you have some time, then we can make you know that rice and chapati or dal, whatever. Then we can provide QS2. But you have a lot of time, 1 day time, we can publish the data. Then you can make chicken biryani, mutton chop, or salad, or many other things, right? That means we, based on the urgency, based on the situation, the publisher subscriber model works. That means how one drone to talk to other drones. This is very important. And this is a purely IoT architecture point of view, right? How this drone want to connect to one drone to others, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have developed this model, and practically we have developed. It's not a theory. We have practically developed this publisher subscriber model. We have used MQTT and MQTT SN with various sensing modules. See, we have sensed the data, whether it be human data, whether it can be weather data, whether it can be traffic data. Using the sensor, we are using a local buffer, which is using for view computing purpose. Using this drone-to-drone connectivity is possible, and by this way, actually, we are connecting the whole operations to the cloud. So this is the way actually we are doing these final operations, one drone to other drones. Okay, and these drones are all autonomous drone, and these drones are all multi-objective optimized drone. These drones are all AI-enabled drones. Okay. I think, madam, I think we have no time now. We have completed the first step.
Yes, sir. We have completed
So
the
I think we can continue the next step if you permit. Any question?
Sir,
1 or 2 questions? Yes. Yes.
sir. I would request the participants, if you have any question, you can post it in the chat box. Answer up to you whenever you want to.
Yeah, no problem. At least one or two questions I can take. Then my next talk is also with 6G and these drones. You know, they'll be working together. Privacy. So I'll finish this part and then I'll cover that part. Okay.
Participants
question, please?
unmute also and ask their questions.
Okay, the participants have been given the permission to unmute themselves. So if you want, you can unmute yourself and ask your question directly to sir.
Directly your chat box, no problem. One or two questions, then I'll take more questions in the second talk.
So right now, I don't have any other question for you in the chat box.
Yeah. Actually, I have interacted throughout the session, I think, through you, and thank you, Parvi madam, Parvi Ghosh madam, and so Tufan and others. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So
So,
it was a very interesting session. We were all glued to the session. So we were intently listening to whatever you said. And throughout the session, you kept on clarifying our doubts.
yeah. See, unless and until you understand, there's no meaning of giving lecture, right? So we have to understand the basics of it. Then machine learning is available. We have to understand what we are doing and why we are doing. That is the very important. And I have shown you what to program. I have shown you the programming modules also. Okay.
So I had one query about the model you just discussed right now. The MQTT protocol that is each of these drone is using. So the requirement will change. And if the requirement changes, if we have more time, so one, it can switch from QoS level 0 to level 1 to level 2. Each drone can have the capability to do that.
Yes, you can change the level. Yes. See, I have not mentioned one thing. The level can be increased, right? It's like a games level. You can go to one level to other level. It based on your time availability. How much time, ultimate target is we have to reach the destination, means you have to provide the solution in real-time fashion. That's it. So we can increase the level. We can switch one quality to other quality. Another thing I have not mentioned is called interoperability. See, this one, see, this drone is working in, say, MQTT protocol. I say this drone is talking in MQTT SN protocol, other drones, right?
Okay.
Then, what do you do? Say someone is talking in Hindi, someone is talking in Chinese. What will do?
So
They need a translator.
Yeah.
This is called interoperability. This is called interoperability. So it is called protocol interoperability. Protocol of one drone can be connected to other drones. They can change the protocol. Say Hindi to Chinese or Chinese to Hindi. Means MQTT to MQTT SN. SN stands for sensor network. Or MQTT SN to MQTT. That is also possible. It's another case study. Okay. To do this thing practically, you will get a lot of idea. And that is the reason there is a beauty of IoT. IoT gives us the flexibility to give this kind of operations for our whole system to operate. Yes, I think it is clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I would like to know, will you be continuing with the second session from now, or shall we?
No, we'll give a break. We'll give a break.
All right.
After
All
that.
right. Okay. So again, we will be resuming from 11:30, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So to all the participants, you can stay in this meeting or you can take a half an hour break and join again by 11:30 a.m. From 11:30, we will be having our session 2 with again Devashish sir will be there, and we will be knowing more about drones from
Drones and 6G. Yeah.
drones and 6G. Absolutely. Drones give us a 360-degree surveillance data, and you gave us a 360-degree parameters to think about drones from different angles. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So we have a
Thanks to
question
everyone to make this session very
at
interactive.
box.
And also I can see Raju and Sonal Sood. Thank you very much.
So there is one question.
Yes,
We'll
yes.
take it up. Instead of Raspberry Pi, can we use MicroPython microcontrollers? So this
It
question
is up to you. If you can do the proper interfacing, if your interfacing is properly matched, then yes, surely you can do it.
There are many.
And lots of
FAQ
research
sessions.
paper is available. Lots of research paper is available. How to interface with the drones. Okay.
So I think the question has been answered, and there are a lot of appreciations coming your way, sir, through the
Thank you.
chat box.
Thank you.
All right, so we will go in a short break for half an hour, and then we will resume from 1:30.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And to all the participants, keep an eye on the chat box. The attendance link will be posted at 3 p.m. and it will be live till 3:30. So I request all the participants to be a bit vigilant from 3 to 3 p.m. from 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. So that you can put your attendance on time. And it will be, the attendance link will be given via the Zoom chat box. And whilst you are putting in your details, please make sure you're giving the same details with which you have registered in the AICTE Atal portal. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.